Hi everybody, my name is Brady and I'm a 19th century American historian and we are back with another React video, and today we're going to be doing more Salmonella, Why It Sucked to Be a Pirate. I've encountered pirates here and there in my area of study. Pirates have been around forever, so no matter when you study, you might be able to run into pirates. It's interesting. I'm curious about when he's going to be talking about. I'd imagine it's like Pirates of the Caribbean timeline level pirates, probably not modern pirates, probably not ancient pirates. We have a specific stereotypical pirate that we're probably going for here, which sounds like it should be interesting. It's something that I really do want to learn a little bit more about. We're not talking about like these exceptional pirates that made huge plunders and perhaps even went on to live lavish lifestyles. I'd imagine we're talking about low-level pirates and the daily struggle there, which is really interesting to me. Scurvy, that sort of stuff, and I'd imagine we have a lot of other things to talk about, so let's get started.
Hey, little Jimmy.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, it's alright.
So do you think it'd be fun to be a pirate?
Yeah?
Well, guess what? You couldn't be more wrong.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
At some point, every kid has dreamed about being a swashbuckling, corn-shuckling, wife-cuckling, cocksuckling pirate, but trust me when I say, it was really not all it's cracked up to be.
When I think of life at sea in general, especially during my area of study, I do like the 19th century, but a little bit of the 18th century. There's a lot of talk about pirates, but we don't even have to talk about pirates to get how bad this was. You talk about the British Navy, the most powerful navy on the planet at the time. Life sucked to be in the British Navy. So imagine what it's like to be a pirate who does not have the resources of the most powerful empire on the planet at the time. It's probably a world of difference. Ooh, food.
First, we'll talk about the food. So one staple of the pirate diet was salted meat, usually wild oxen or pork. And I love jerky as much as the next guy, but this wasn't like a bag of Jack Links. In fact, it was probably closer in texture to your shoes than any meat you've ever eaten. In those days, you couldn't just snap into a Slim Jim. That's a modern luxury that we take for granted. Back then, the slogan was, gnaw on a Slim Jim for minutes on end, grinding it between your molars while the gallons of salt turn your mouth into a desert until the mangled hunk of flesh in your mouth is just soft enough to be shoved down your greasy fucking pirate throat without tearing a hole.
Okay, so we have a year on screen here, so that's good. We're doing 1700s. Okay, I'm glad that we cleared that part up. Ugh. And their teeth weren't that good. Just even if you weren't a pirate, but you probably deal with these problems if you're a pirate as well. But generally, people's teeth were not that good at the time anyway. So that's probably even worse because you're putting a lot of stress on them. Dude, I could only imagine how bad that was.
Another essential food item was known as hardtack. This was
Hardtack.
essentially just flour and water baked into a cracker-like brick. Beyond the
Oh,
fact
I've
that
heard
it
of
was
that.
totally flavorless, hardtack was also extremely dense, to the point where pirates would often have to slam their fists down on it in order to break it into pieces small enough to fit in their mouth. As long as it was kept dry, hardtack almost never spoiled, although it often became infested with weevils. Excuse me, sir? I'm a vegan, so can I have a new piece? One without any of Mother Nature's beautiful creatures in it? Thanks. Wait a minute, is this gluten-free? This better be hemp rope. Nah, but the weevils didn't make you sick or change the taste
Okay.
all that much, so, and this is true, the crew would just eat it in the dark, so that way they couldn't tell if they were eating a normal chunk or a weevily one. Then,
It makes me wonder. I know you can eat certain kinds of bugs and be fine. I don't know the nutritional value of a weevil. Those are just huge beetles, right? Something like that. No, I'm getting a no from off screen. Small beetles. I don't know. I could Google it really quick. I'm gonna Google it really quick. Okay, we looked it up and tiny. They're little bugs. I had them mixed up with something else in my head. I don't know. There are big beetles that I thought were called weevils, but no, they're little 3 to 10 millimeters is what it says here.
And there's the crowding. So pirate ships typically packed in as many crew members as possible, because more pirates means more manpower when you go to board an enemy ship. Of course, the downside to that is that you're basically like a bunch of hairy, unwashed sardines. Let me illustrate what a typical night below deck was like. So you're sprawled out on the damp, musty wood floor. Everything's pitch black, you can't see a thing. The smell of the filth and the mold forces you to only breathe through your mouth. Suddenly, your left hand feels wet, probably just seawater leaking through the hull. You sniff your hand, nope. No, that's piss. You feel something furry rub up against your elbow. It was either the body of a diseased rat or the beard of your diseased crewmate. Either way, that's probably where the piss came from. Some guy's moaning loudly in the next room. Hopefully he's just jerking off, because if he's dying, that's one more body to deal with in the morning. Rinse and repeat for 8 hours, and then it's daytime. The poor diet and cramp...
Just generally survival in an overseas voyage. I guess these people are probably not just going overseas. They're probably staying closer to port. But I think about like these overseas voyages, these transatlantic voyages that are happening at the time. And yeah, you'd get a lot of people dying. It gets easier. The more times people cross the Atlantic, the more they started to kind of get how to do it. But it was never safe. So life at sea in general is not all that safe. I'm curious to when we get into the violence. I'd imagine Salmonella, kind of in his style, he might go for the more mundane stuff and make it funny. But I'd imagine you gotta mention some of the violence. But we'll see.
conditions led to disease being a huge problem aboard pirate ships. The most well-known of these diseases is scurvy, where you don't get enough vitamin C. When scurvy first begins, you just kind of feel tired all the time, no big deal. Then you get weird spots on your skin and your gums start bleeding. This progresses until all your teeth fall out and all of your body's mucous membranes start gushing blood and pus, causing you to die. So that's a lot of fun. There were tons of other diseases too. I won't go through them all, but here's a few honorable mentions. Also, some people say that
excuse me. Okay, sorry. I was that kind of got me there. I'm not gonna read any of those out loud, but
I won't go through them all, but here's a few honorable mentions. Also, some people say that alcoholism is a disease. I might just be disturbed, but that's one sickness I could definitely get down with. If it is a disease, then yeah, just about every pirate had this one. If anything, though, I'd call that one of the few upsides of pirate life. Finally, there's the combat. So
okay, here we go.
These disgusting, horrible living conditions, but at least you can enjoy the thrill of battle, right? Swinging from rope to rope, sword in your mouth, long, intense saber duels, that kind of thing. But that's typically not how it went down. For one thing, when pirates boarded a ship, 9 times out of 10, they just surrender immediately. Because what are a bunch of well-groomed merchants going to do against a horde of disgusting barbarians? If the defending ship...
Yeah, it was usually just merchants or whatever. I've read some stories about, batten down the hatches, we're all getting our arms and whatever, and I remember stories about... John Adams, when he was a diplomat in Europe, he made the transatlantic voyage, and they had kind of a scare, and he armed himself or whatever, or so he says. Yeah, I am not surprised at all by that. Combat, of course, is going to happen eventually. A lot of the time, what I find is they take advantage of countries with slightly weaker navies. Some of these pirates even get contracted by some nations to mess with other nations, which that's something. That's quite... that's really not all that surprising either. I mean, I guess it's a consistent way to get paid.
Ship did decide to fight back, though, the resulting brawl wouldn't be anything like the movies. It'd be way worse, like immediate R rating. Because pirates rely a lot on brutality, both because they don't have much real training, and because it scares the shit out of people. If you were a deckhand on an invaded ship and you were stupid enough to fight back, you wouldn't be dancing around doing flips and shit, none of that. Instead, they'd probably shoot you in the stomach with a flintlock pistol, kick you to the ground, chop off your shoulder blade with a hand axe, gouge out your eyes with a marlin spike, wind your intestines around around the prow and then tossed your twitching body overboard. And that's only a slight exaggeration. Honestly, if Jack Sparrow got attacked by actual pirates, he wouldn't last a second. It's kind of like a used car salesman going to prison, like, I'll be fine. If anybody tries intimidating me, I can get out of it with my quick wit and charming personality. Boy, you look real pretty from behind.
Oh god, that's not good.
Oh wow, I'm boned. So yeah, in short, if you're thinking...
Yeah, I don't think... I would assume that at this point, nobody is under the impression that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are a great representation of pirates. It's clearly a fantasy movie. Even people who aren't looking into the history, I think they understand this. Maybe if you go back in time a little bit, people would buy into the pirate myths of like the 20th century a little bit more, but I think we're kind of past that. I know a lot of myths probably sneak through the cracks, but it seems like people understand that it's not that. It is definitely uglier than that portrays. And honestly, those movies didn't make it look all that appealing either. They never seemed like they were happy or anything like that.
Thinking about pulling a Captain Phillips anytime soon, I'd advise against it. That's all for today. Till next time, I'm Sam and Nella, and thank you for watching.
Oh. I didn't realize how short that one was. That one was really cool. I have a few books on pirates that I've been waiting to get into. I just never got around to it. It's one of those things, like there's so many subjects you want to know about. How do you set aside all the time and I guess study the things you're supposed to while you're going to school and stuff like that. That's kind of always how it's been with me. Pirates is something that I would love to know more about because that's a fun conversation. If I bring up my area of study in regular conversation, it's not the most exciting. I've had people say that it generally sounds really boring. If I bring up pirates, that probably sounds a little bit more fun to for casual conversation. I don't know if I could break out some fun facts about pirates. I'd imagine I'd be a little bit more popular there. Oh, hello. You're coming to say hi to the people? He just had a bath right before the video, so he's a little soggy. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any other salmonella videos you want me to do? Eventually, I'm going to do all of them, but I'm not picking them in any particular order at this point. So let me know in the comment section below if there's any in particular you want me to check out. I've been reading. I know a handful of them that you really do want to see. I'm listening. I'll get there. I'll get to them. But if there's any others, let me know, and I will see you next time.